Well, hello there. I was going to say good morning, but it may not be morning when you see this video. So, anyways, it is morning when I'm recording this video because it is. And I'm actually, as you can see in the car, I'm about to go into the gym. I had an amazing sleep, but I was having all these thoughts in my head, which is basically my mental space was actively engaged this morning, which then prompted me to say, why am I sitting in bed actively engaged in having a conversation about maybe what to say today on this video when I might as well make it real and actually have the conversation on this video. So that's what I'm doing, because part of this is it's all about working energy. And as you may know, I'm a craniosacral therapist, and so I actually work as a manual therapist, but there's also a whole energy component to it because it's such light touch therapy. And the reason why I bring this up is that sort of this conversation I was having in my head this morning was all about energy movement. And one of the things, I had this epiphany last night, or actually yesterday morning, before I started working with clients. And the epiphany and here's a question for you. Do you know that you actually have a muscle inside your inner cranium, which is actually inside that inner sanctuary area? It's with your brain. And if you didn't, there is. And then once you realize that there is a muscle in there, you go, oh, of course there's a muscle in there. But you don't think of it that way because you don't see it. At least I didn't. Until I started doing some studying, for craniosacral work, and I saw things in a different way, and I went, oh. And so this muscle is a smooth muscle, and it actually surrounds every vein and artery that's in your body. And so guess what? Your brain has veins and arteries. Therefore, there is a muscle that's working inside your head. And that epiphany changed the way I communicated with my clients' bodies. And that epiphany is actually changing also the way I'm communicating with my body. And to be honest, that's meditation. The ability to reflect, the ability to experience something new, the ability to experience yourself in a different way because you see something a little differently than you did before. And that's what we're doing with these tools. That's why we have the skill builders. And that's really why I ask that simple question is, what do you notice when you're doing something? And in the 4Q boundaries, perspective is, what do you notice physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as you're focused on a tool? Because the audios are about paying attention to yourself as you're using a tool. Because all the tools is they help you define your space. They help you release stuff out of your space when you find it. And that's what this week is about. In fact, this week and next week is about energy flow. And this week specifically, we're working with earth energy, we're working with cosmic energy. But what that is, it's called movement within the body. You're actually moving your body. You're getting energy to flow through your legs. You're getting energy to flow from the top of your head, down your back, down that grounding cord. And the grounding cord is a tool of movement. For you to release, you actually have to have movement. And I'm not sure if I've said this on this videos yet. I don't think I have, but stagnation is death. And we don't want small deaths in our body. We don't want those freezing of the joints. In fact, I was sort of talking about this yesterday. It's like, when the body starts to not work, when things start to break down, you'll notice things get really tight. They get stuck. Arthritis is one thing. It's like I think of that. It's like, wow, you didn't have arthritis as a kid, unless you did, unfortunately. But, most people, they accumulate arthritis over a period of time. And then you start looking at that and, well, what's happening is things are freezing up. So guess what? Get energy moving again. And so the reason why I'm dressed this way and I'm talking to you is I'm in my car because I'm going to the gym. Because this morning my body says I need movement. And so for me, it's like, oh, you're right. I do need movement. Your body requires a physical movement. If you're not moving enough, then your body says, okay, then you don't really need this part of your body because you're not using it. And then next it becomes cranky when you try to use it. That's what happens with my legs. I do a lot of sitting throughout my day. And so I don't use my legs as much as I used to. And so guess what? Lack of movement, which then causes issues within the legs. And so wherever your body is at, some people are great at movement. Some people are really good at physical movement. Well, maybe physical movement isn't your issue. Maybe it's emotional movement. Maybe you're frozen on an emotional level. Or maybe you're frozen on a mental level. And a mental level freezing is basically a person that thinks only one way. They can only see life in a certain way. And life is this way, and that's it. It's a rule. Rules are hard. Now, it doesn't mean, I like rules because it gives me definitions. It defines things. It helps me guide. I don't have to think as much because I have a rule that says, hey, this just, turn right when you're driving a car when the sign says turn right only. Don't turn left, turn right. That's a rule. Nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, on a mental script level, if you have all these scripts in place that says you have to do this, this is the only way life is, then what happens is you become rigid in your thought process. And then guess what? Things start to get rigid in other areas. And then if you want to go spiritual, same thing. That's a little bit more nebulous because spirituality is perceived in a lot of different ways. Again, for me, it's all about present time. There's a lot more context to it, but especially for this level of training, keeping it simple. Are you here? Are you not? And maybe you have a rule in your spiritual space where it says anytime you start getting overwhelmed, you have to leave your body. You have to go daydream. You have to go into the TV set, or so anytime you're not in the present, maybe there's an avoidance pattern you have. That's a spiritual boundary that there's too much energy in your spiritual space, causes you to flee, so to speak, even though your body's like, where'd you go? So anyways, so today is, again, a strength builder day. So I'll be listening to the audio while I'm at the gym. And it's all about getting movement. Last night, I listened to the cosmic energy flowing down the back channels. I'm going to do that at the gym today, too, because I want to give myself balance. And by the way, you can listen to both Earth and cosmic energy all in the same day. And I just don't do this in this video because the video would be way too long. Plus you have the audios in the membership. So join the membership. And then that way you can have as much time as you want, meditating and using these tools I'm sharing with you on this 90-day challenge. So anyways, I'm off to the gym. I'm off to do a moving meditation and get my body moving, get my energy moving. And I'll tell you what I experience when I'm done. Take care.
And here is your sample meditation. We're going to be focusing on awakening your cosmic energy flow at gold. Enjoy.
Let's run some cosmic energy. I'd like you to put your attention on the top of your head. And now let's move your attention from the top of your head to the edge of the cosmos. And at the edge of the cosmos, I would like you to let a neutral gold cosmic energy flow from the edge of the cosmos into the top of your head. And as you're watching that neutral gold cosmic energy flow into the top of your head, watch it flow down those two back channels. Watch it flow down your neck, your back, your sacrum, down your grounding. Watch the flow of this neutral gold cosmic energy that's coming from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding cord, just like you'd be watching water that flows out of a faucet. Just pay attention, observe, without any effort. As you're watching this neutral gold cosmic energy flow from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding cord, I'd like you to also pay attention to your body. What are you noticing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as you're allowing this cosmic energy to flow through you? Continue to watch this neutral gold cosmic energy flow from the edge of the cosmos into your head, down your back channels, and down your grounding. Continue to watch.
Well, I'm back. So, great workout. I worked out for about 45 minutes. I had some really good epiphanies during the workout. It was a lot of fun. I like combining these two, working out and also listening to an audio. And even though it's not quote unquote true meditation, because your focus is not, you're not really exploring what's going on inwards. You're still finding your space. And that really for me is like everything. It's about, can you have your space wherever you go? And using the audios, that's part of the tool, is like, you know, the more that you can focus on yourself, the more you can have your space in crowded environments. So if you're a person that's really sensitive and you get overwhelmed with all the energy in a room, well, guess what? By using the audio, you're focusing on yourself. And then guess what? You start to clear out all that energy that says you can't be in rooms, you can't work out with others, all the stuff that comes with the gym, you know, judgment, opinions, you know, people are having that all the time when they're working out, you know, and at the same time, guess what? You experience it. So a lot of times when people go to a gym, the stuff they're experiencing may not even be their own. It may be somebody else's that they just walked by or they looked at and they went, oh, I remember, I know you're just like me. And guess what? By paying attention to yourself, you're like, oh, look what just happened to me. Okay, I could release it down my grounding cord. And then what's happening is you're starting to find more neutrality within your space, which then allows you to actually work more energy while you're working out. So one of the things that I will say with regards to the workout itself is that one of the epiphanies, I should say, I had was I had this very brief conversation in my head. It's like, okay, people will ask, well, and you'll get this next week. It's front channels. So you have front channels coming out of the top of the head, and you have the back channels going down the back of the head. And it's like, well, how do these all mix? That was sort of the energy I was in. Like I said, it's next week. You'll understand what I'm saying. But the concept I had, which is why I want to share it because I've never seen it before, is think of the cosmic energy coming into your head like the interstitial fluids that are between the cells. And basically your veins, your arteries, the lymphatic system, all that, they all get to they become a non-structure at a certain level. And then you have all these fluids that are moving around, and then eventually they sort themselves out, and some of the fluids will go into the arteries, some will go into the veins, some will go into the lymphatic system. And guess what? You don't know how it works. Nobody knows how it completely works. Maybe a cellular scientist does, but I'm not one. So, but at the same time, that's sort of the same thing with energy. When the cosmic energy comes into your body, guess what? It's coming in. You're letting it fully envelop your head, and then it goes down these two back channels. And at the very beginning when I was doing this, what I was noticing for myself is like, oh, my back channels were sort of wide. It was sort of like it was more of a flood of energy versus channels of energy. And so then what I did was I created these tubes, you know, from my head itself and then down my neck. I was like, oh, and I was paying attention to how big the tubes were. Also noticing, it's like, oh, wow, some of these channels, some of the part of this channel is actually not in my body. It's outside of my body. And that's a perception. So you'll notice, like, so when you're running this energy, this earth energy, cosmic energy, notice, are you running the energy in your body, or did you create the channels that it's right outside of your space? Right outside, not your space, but right outside your body. And if that's the case, then bring the energy channels into your body and notice what that's like. And then notice what it stirs up. You know, well, how does that work? And what does it go through? And all this. There's two channels, one on each side of the spine. Now explore what is it like to allow cosmic energy to run through those back channels that are parallel to your spine, going all the way down to your coccyx, which is the base of your spine, and then down your grounding cord. And so you're paying attention to noticing energy. And then the questions that come up, the doubts, noticing it's like, wow, I notice a second, and then my attention goes somewhere else. That's okay. Allow that to happen. Because again, you're noticing. That's part of the noticing process. So it's not about a punishing process, it's a noticing process. And then it's like, well, how do I experience this? What is the experience I have? You know, it could be, wow, I feel so amazing when energy is flowing through me, or wow, this really woke me up when I started. So everybody's going to have a different experience. Every time you run energy, it's going to be different because you're working energy through your body. You're releasing stuff. That's why this energy flows through your body. It's a river that's flowing. And what you're doing is you're allowing the flow of this energy to help, pick up the stagnation that's in your body. So if you have areas of stagnation and these channels are running by it, allow that energy to help release that stagnation, so that way you can get more energy flowing into those parts of your body that don't flow. And then notice what you notice. Keep it that simple. So anyways, I think I'm done for the day. I'm going to go get ready and go to work, and I'll probably be working more energy today, but I'm not going to share that because this video is done. So anyways, have an amazing morning, afternoon, evening, and nighttime whenever you see this video, and I will talk to you on, God, I think it's day 27. So last day of the skill builders. So anyways, talk to you later. Bye.